All right, benchwarmers, listen up. It's going to get hot at the ballpark, hot at the gym, and hot at your kid's sports practice. So you need something that does two things at once. Keeps your drink cold and lets you rep your squad in style. That is where Frost Buddy comes in. With Frost Buddy, you can represent your favorite college teams from Alabama all the way to Xavier while keeping your drinks colder than a small forward missing 12 shots in a row. And if you are keeping something warm, they can do that too. Hotter than a center who just made 12 straight in the paint. The Universal XL Frost Buddy can handle almost anything. Traditional 12-ounce cans, Gatorade, sports drinks, slim cans, tall boys, Arizona iced tea cans, and even bottles. That is why they call it Universal. And to cap it all off, literally, you can add a 100% leak-proof lid, the perfect finish, just like your favorite team closing out a big win. And speaking of favorite teams, Frost Buddy has you covered there. MLB fans can pick their favorite team and choose from styles in the Cooperstown Collection or Legacy Collection. More of an NHL fan, Frost Buddy and All Gloves Off Sports Media have you covered with 120 styles of Universal Buddies and To-Go Buddies, plus your favorite NCAA teams. And it gets even better. Frost Buddy has 40,000 plus reviews, a 30-day free trial, and free shipping on orders over $60. Not buying for a sports fan? No problem. They also have several 32-ounce bottle buddies and full rainbow of designs, perfect for as a gift for people in your life who may not be locked in on the game day like you are. They come with a sip and chug lid, no slip bottom, a detachable strap, and yes, they are cup holder friendly. So scan the code, chill the liquid, and rep your team with a great combination of Frost Buddy and All Gloves Off Sports Media. You are covered wherever game day takes you. Go to frostbuddy.com/redhotreds and get yours today. That's frostbuddy.com/REDHOTREDS and get yours today.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.
It's always good to be back with everybody. Welcome, bench warmers. Welcome, All Gloves Off Sports Media fans. Thank you to Frost Buddy, who is the first ad that you guys just heard. We have plenty of things to get into, but once again, since this is the second episode now that we've had under the network banner, my name is Jimmy Pilato, the co-host that you see on the screen, Nico Bryant. We are two Colorado podcasters. We talk about all things from, I feel like, across the spectrum, from media all the way through every single niche sport that you can possibly think of. We're going to start off with one of those niche sports today in today's episode. Make sure that you are following at FEOTB Pod and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have these episodes that come out every Thursday. We have the versus videos with the summer that's been happening. During the NFL season, we do a pick'em. I have won the pick'em a singular time. And make sure that you're subscribed, because I'm going to have to figure out something creative with this year's fantasy punishment. I don't know if I'm going to have to do a mile on the track. I might decide, I'm planning on buying myself a GoPro, so we have a different angle this year. Nico, I'm going to put it to you. You're the commissioner. I would like to do a trail mile instead of a track mile. Trail mile in a suit. I'd still be in a suit. I'd still be dressed. Also, I was also thinking graduation gown, because I'm part of the class of 2020 that never got to walk across the stage. So maybe that's what I do in my graduation gown that I spent $80 on. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
We both fell under that category of not being able to walk. I mean, like, we are up to debate. I'll leave it to the members in our group and let them decide. But yeah, the old track is no longer there, so we're gonna have to figure something else out. I feel bad making you run a trail, because I feel like that's more public, as opposed to, like, you see the public.
Last season was pretty public. I mean, I guess it was one guy, but damn, I also we posted that online, and normally, not going to say what our videos normally do, but that video was, everybody was interested in seeing my pain and seeing what was going on. And I feel like this, I don't know if I'm going to get one of those like body camera vests that they have, or just
I will say my recording
was
head not very good either. So the
GoPro that's why I want the GoPro. So you get the start and Jimmy's up going forward, and then you just hear. And then you can hear I'll just let my inner monologue go. It'll be a full-on podcast as I'm running along the trail. I don't run, so that's going to be I walk quite a bit. I walk Boomer quite a bit, but I don't run very much on at all. And the trail, it's hot. I'm hoping that there's some sort of cooling off period that we get this done in, because
do you think this I will. Do we have hydration breaks? Like, what are we doing here?
I would like a hydration break. I would like one. And by the way, we'll get to it when we talk about the World Cup, but poor England and Norway having to play in Miami in 80 degrees with 100% humidity.
It's like, those guys never seen temperatures that high. They didn't know the thermostat had that level. But as we said, make sure you're subscribing, following at FEOTB Pod. And we have plenty of things to get to, including our new versus debate, which I think will be a good one. We are going to start with probably the biggest dud of anything that we've covered. And that's to say, that's a lot.
We've covered Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. We've covered
and Conor and Floyd. Well, actually, no. Floyd versus Conor was before this show.
We've covered Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson, and that was even more of a fight than this. Like I
well, there's so obviously if you were watching this weekend on Paramount Plus, the UFC 329 main event. Yeah, sorry for that. I'm glad you didn't have to pay $85 on ESPN to watch that. So we can all say if you have a Paramount Plus account, you already pay the money, so it's included. So I apologize for that. That was probably one of the biggest hype jobs, and then just absolutely nothing. It made a lot of conspiracy theories. We're going to talk about those, but just Conor McGregor throws basically 1.5 kicks, and he tears his ACL after not fighting for the last 5 years. And we are once again reminded that this is not a TV show. This is not a movie set that we live in. This is the real world. And in the real world, when you have taken so much time, your body's not used to it. So whether or not he tears his ACL there, you can't tell me that his body was going to be prepared to get punched in the liver or kicked in the stomach or kicked on the leg. Like, there's going to be so many other things. He probably got it out of it the easiest way possible. And that's why people are bringing up this idea that he took a dive knowing that he was injured. But just, I guess, general thoughts, because you tweeted it out very, very quickly on our account. Just general thoughts as you were watching it, and then we'll go into the conspiracies and some of the other storylines that are coming out of this. But, oh my gosh, what a massive collapse.
Like we talked about last week, Conor McGregor hasn't won a fight in 4 years. Hasn't won a fight in 5 years. Hasn't fought in 4 years. Like, I don't like. Yeah, it really, really sucked the way it did. I'm not going to blame.
You would have rather seen Holloway punch his lights out. Don't be coy.
100%. Like, everyone knows I'm a Team Holloway guy, but like, I sat there and I'm like, dude, you're not Mystic Mac. You're not main event McGregor. You are opening fight of the card McGregor at this point. Like,
you're some young hungry lion's next feeding job. That's what you are. You know how they used to throw out the gladiators to the lions in the Coliseum? They're going to get some new prospect. They're going to try and find the next Conor McGregor out of Ireland, and they're going to make them fight, and it's just going to be some tiger ripping apart some poor gazelle. It's going to look like the T-Rex scene in Jurassic Park.
Look, I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything, but there's a reason why McGregor was not in the testing period for a handful of years there, and they wouldn't let him back in, okay? And let's just say when you do certain things, your body does become a little brittle. True or false? Very, very true.
Well, cocaine lasts. If he would have kept fighting and doing the cocaine, probably would have been able to keep doing it for those 5 years that he wasted. And I'll say wasted because I do like the Roadhouse movie, but I will stand here and say the Roadhouse movie is a piece of garbage movie. It's only good because it's so bad. I believe they have almost all of the impact scenes as CGI. Him and Jake Gyllenhaal never actually fight in that entire thing. In that 5 years, if he would have kept doing the things that he's doing, he probably could have had a little bit more success. But doing what he was doing and then stopping it cold turkey, finding God again is what he said. So I'll use his phrasing. Finding God again. All those things are great. But you know what? There's still people forget. I think people forgot because when I posted the clip of you saying that you wanted Holloway to absolutely end him, there was a little bit of question as to why. Because you're right. There are episodes where we used to talk about Conor McGregor fights being the number one thing on our calendar. When you have rape and sexual assault allegations that are settled out of court, yeah, the guilty verdict never came down, allegedly. But the fact that you settled, I'm glad that everything is turned around now, and I'm not wishing anything ill on him moving forward, but there are a lot of things that you need to answer for, and cosmically, karma will catch up to you, and karma's a bitch. Karma will tear your ACL after you throw some weird spinning kick and fall down on your face a minute and 9 seconds into your fight.
I don't. It's obviously a big mixture of that, but like Holloway is like one of the coolest and most fun fighters the UFC has ever seen. Like I don't like McGregor anymore. I used to be a big fan, and after all that happened, I've just become lesser a fan. And the shtick has just gotten old to be like, well, I'll fuck your mother while he's talking press conference. Like, all right, yeah, maybe 10 years ago, But like now, you're gonna fall apart if I lay one punch on you. Like that it's old. It's old, and it's not like in 2026. It's not a thing anymore, and it's very, very frustrating because, boy, I don't know if who do you think is worse? Who do you think is more mad? Conor McGregor and his team, or the fans that bought a ticket to see Mystic Mac fight? because that is, I don't know what the gate ticket was that week to that fight, but I do know that Conor McGregor's tickets are not cheap. Okay, and outside of like, look, the rest of the fights are good. Like we'll talk about those here momentarily. But like obviously, you signed up to see McGregor fight.
$1,000 for the cheapest upper level seats, upwards of $5,000 to $89,000 for VIP and floor seating.
I could absolutely not imagine paying that much and that happening. It was like when it comes to boxing, when it comes to things like that, like boxing, MMA, all those sports, like you're gambling yourself when you're betting on those type of things. Like you know what you're gonna get at a basketball game, at a football game, or like yeah, it might be a blowout, but you'll see action. You'll know what's gonna happen, right? Boxing, MMA, all like jiu-jitsu, all those things. Like you sign up for this could end in 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like at least WrestleMania. Yeah, I know it's fake. Yeah, I know that. Like sometimes the script is going to go well. I'm signing up for 3 hours with my wrestlers going more times than not. Yes, it happens every now and then. Going more than 10 seconds. Okay, and I would have been so frustrated if I bought a ticket to that. I was frustrated that fact that I had to that I was middle of family game night, and I said, let's pause the game we're playing to watch this, and then 30 seconds later, nope, we can continue. I was pissed about that. And I couldn't imagine.
I was going to say, you could have, if you were watching the soccer game, you had no idea what happened in the end of that main event because the main event was done. They had the arena cleared. They had the post-fight game already going on by the time Switzerland was down to 10 men. That was the entire time sequence. That's how crazy this whole, because UFC was supposed to end the night. That was supposed to be the end of this sports weekend that we've had, 4 days of World Cup, FIFA quarterfinals, and then you get into this card, and it was a good card. One thing I will say before we get to that, speaking of betting, I found this out, and I was kind of flabbergasted by it. 88% of the money wagered was on Conor McGregor. 88% of the money put down on this fight was on Conor McGregor, and then you have it end that way. And then the other question that I had was, do you think that this main event tanks the entire rest of the card? Because like you said, there were some really cool moments. There was some announcements of superstars. I think we can say we have the next European superstar based off of this card. You had guys moving up into different weight classes. You had the debut of the greatest American collegiate wrestler of all time. But just does the way that this main event ended, does it kind of take some of the sting out of the rest of the stuff that happened?
I'll say this. Individually, no. Like it's I think like the people that watch the fight, like, yeah, Patty's a star, right? Patty's a star. But we thought maybe, after losing to Gaethje, he would be a guy that we don't know if he'll be able to stay at the top. Well, he could stay at the top, very much so. Okay, people were excited to see Gable Steveson get into the octagon, see what he's made of, right? Robbie Whittaker moving up to light heavyweight, didn't want to see that, right? Individually, no. As a whole, absolutely. And you're saying, Nico, what the fuck do you mean by that? Individually, if you walked away, be like, fuck yeah, I want to watch another Patty fight, right? Fuck yeah, I want to watch another Gable Stevenson fight. Fuck yeah, like individually, yeah, I want to watch those guys again and again and again. But as a whole, am I going to sit here and be like, yeah, I want to sign up for the next main event for Conor McGregor? Do I ever want to watch another Conor McGregor fight? Do I want to pay for or re-up my Paramount subscription plus? Or do I just want to go back and watch the highlights of some of these fighters that I'm now a fan of and pay for a ticket? Like that's the overall cost of having your main event flop the way it did.
And metaphorically too, like the business-wise, they have eliminated the fact that they need a big star to sell anything because they make the same amount of money no matter what. But this is also, like, metaphorically the death of that pay-per-view star, because Conor McGregor was the last of the UFC pay-per-view stars, and that's what he did. And this is like, there's going to be a ton of people that only wanted to watch the main event. There's going to be a ton of people that flipped over to Paramount Plus just when the main event was going to be starting. And all of those people, like you said, are probably not going to continue watching the UFC because they didn't see anything else. They saw a guy slip and fall and damn near 40-year-old man, because he's 38 now, a damn near 40-year-old man slip and fall and tear his ACL, and that's how your biggest fight of the card ended?
Yeah, it's not good looking. And I'll say this is like, I don't think the move from I mean, I don't know the numbers, I don't know the costs, and Dana could say differently, but I think the Paramount move has been really, really rough on them. I think ESPN, like I said last week, ESPN has brought a lot of eyes, and the fact that it was on behind a paywall on ESPN made it more difficult, and now Paramount Plus is a lot more available. I think they're sitting here being like, we gotta roll out, we gotta fork over money to these guys to get people to get viewers. Like UFC 250 Freedom, like that was one of the most viewed sporting events of the whole year, and it will be the
follow up to that.
This is the follow up. Like for those people that watch UFC 250 or Freedom 250, not UFC 250, obviously that's a different card, but UFC Freedom 250, they're like, you know what? Let me see. Conor McGregor's back. Let me see what the match is all about. For those that tuned in since the beginning and are the diehard fans, are like, yeah, Gibble Stevenson. Fuck yeah, Patty, Robbie Whittaker. Hell yeah, absolutely. Sign me up for that. And then the fans that who's like, oh, I want to see the antics and everything all over again of Conor McGregor. You're like, okay, what? Why did I waste 10 minutes on this? It's like I could have been watching the soccer game like the rest of the world. I could have been doing this, could have been doing that. Like, why did I have this appointment television for a guy that's 38 years old? Like that's the problem with the UFC right now. It's like it's struggling. Patty is probably that next wave and one of the bigger faces now in terms of excitement and hype and everything. But like the UFC does not have a guy that you put a stamp on being like, you know what, UFC, what number are we at? 329?
This would be the next one coming up is 330.
So UFC 350 is the next like big one, right? The next like mark, right? Mark on the calendar next to 400. Who do you have main eventing that?
You're hoping Bo Nickel, Gable Stevenson.
You're hoping like something like that happens because Pereira's falling behind, right? Like
Pereira. Speaking of another guy that's in his 40s, and John Jones, also a guy approaching his 40s, and I love those guys.
Older, like
Holloway is mid 30s. Gaethje, like we said, Gaethje is considering retirement after that last fight, and that was going into.
You're hoping that Patty just rises to the star of the world.
Patty ain't young either. Patty's been doing it for a minute too. Like. They need to find something else, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago too. The way that they're doing the Ultimate Fighter this upcoming season with Bisping and Cormier as the coaches, I don't think you're finding your next star out of the Ultimate Fighter. You're now having to pivot and maneuver, and for a while it was Dana White's Contender Series, but it feels like even that has gone to the wayside with this Paramount deal because they're not filming this stuff, they're not putting out the content. I mean, I watched the UFC countdown, but did you watch a UFC 329 countdown? No, I've watched it on YouTube. I didn't even watch it on TV. Like they are what we normally say about, I feel like the NBA because and the MLB, because they put their stuff more so behind a paywall than anything. They don't allow people to just see it on social media and on YouTube. The UFC is starting to fall pretty far out of touch with that stuff too. Like they are not producing, and even in international markets, there is no Brazilian killer. Like remember when McGregor was coming up, who was his adversary? It was the Brazilian killer, Jose Aldo, who hadn't lost in 11 years. You don't have one of those guys. You don't have an international guy that you can prop up and find the next great American to take him out. Those are all the storylines. All the WWE storylines that the UFC tried to reproduce, they're gone. You've used all of them. So now you're going to have to be creative on your own, and it doesn't seem like they're being very creative.
Look, my biggest problem of it all, it's like the one of the reasons why we like got into McGregor, that we got into Holloway, that we got into Poirier, that we got into John Jones, all those things. Like, no offense, like the UFC was built on shit talkers and guys that were highlight level fighters. Like that's the other problem they're running into. It's like, yeah, you can give like we're
give another Nurmagomedov the strap, and you're getting a 18-minute wrestling match.
We are long past the days of just like guys going in there trying to knock each other out. It's like guys trying to win points, and it's kind of a point where the UFC doesn't even give fight of the night or knockout of the night bonuses. You knock the dude out, you get a bonus. That's horrible. Like that's the fact. And like I understand like you're trying to incentivize all of it. But like, how did you hear about McGregor? How did you hear about John Jones? Like, I heard about all of them. Like,
how did people get into the UFC? People got into the UFC because of that Ultimate Fighter Championship where Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner were beating the absolute piss out of each other. And Rogan talks about it all the time. They had people calling each other on their landline phones because that's how old it was, telling, hey, turn to channel 44, Spike TV right now. These two guys are beating the absolute crap out of each other. And there has not been one of those fights for a long time.
We have not had that in a very long time. The other thing I will say is, like I said, it's a clicks world. It's a click-on-click world. And one thing ESPN
they've invested way too heavily in that power slap.
One thing ESPN had that was very beneficial is fight card ends, highlights are on ESPN. Fight card ends here, you get the highlights on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
So if you didn't pay for Paramount Plus and you're just a casual fan, you're scrolling on Twitter and trying to see if anything happened. You're like, oh, no knockouts? Okay, well, I guess I won't even look up to see if anything else happened. Oh, I guess this guy won by a TKO, or this guy did this, or this guy won by decision. Oh, okay, so I don't need to watch the replay or highlights back. They showed a couple of the weight classes and their champions, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I didn't even know who the flyweight champion was. I
have not watched a flyweight fight since I think Sugar Sean when he was flyweight.
Probably Mighty Mouse was probably the last one you watched.
Oh no, yeah, flyweight. You're right. 125. Mighty Mouse.
Probably Mighty Mouse or Cejudo was probably the last one you saw. Like I watched, I was like, who? I usually am. I think we like we're not the best at following UFC and everything. Both you and I are big fans of it, and I think we'd like to say that we're more than knowledgeable of the average person, not the obviously most knowledgeable people. More knowledgeable than the average person. And even I'm sitting here being like, why would I tune into a fight night card? Like I during the 2010s, during COVID, during all these things, like I was like, yeah, I need to tune in because they're trying to take each other's head off. So now I'm like, all right, who's trying to win a decision? And this is no slight to you, but obviously the it's a high school wrestling and a college wrestling way of looking at it, trying to score points, trying to do all that, as opposed to trying to pin guys and knock people out. And it comes from the Russians, it comes from the Dagestanis, it comes from that European style where it's like Greco-Roman, just trying to do moves, set yourself up, do all that. And we're away from the boxers, from the kickboxers to Muay Thai to all of that. And you're like, that's what you get for it. And it's a very unfortunate way that the UFC is going.
It's the wrestling that I don't even like to watch. It's not the wrestling that wins at the NCAA tournament. It's more
like the guys that do the Bo Nichols, the Gable Stevensons, like that's entertaining wrestling.
And by the way, speaking of shit talkers, like Gable Stevenson, I know that he had his fight and he won. He's no slouch on the mic. Like he was out there on podcast, he's already set himself up for a big fight against Josh Hokett. That'll be a big fight, even though Gable, I think, is going to absolutely tear him up. But the whole thing was, he got pinned by Bo Nickel in college wrestling. Do you think Bo Nickel could pin me? And the guy interviewing him goes, no. And he goes, yeah, no, I'd beat him 10-0 in probably about 15 seconds. And that's no slight. Bo Nickel is a great wrestler. But when you're 280 pounds and are used to throwing around other 280-pound Eastern Europeans on steroids and winning gold medals, it's something different. Like there is a different level of strength. So Gable was a great thing that came out of this. Before we move on to, because I want to go through the rest of the decisions. We'll move off of McGregor with this. It is stated he's getting surgery on his ACL. He's going to have reconstructive surgery, and he has said emphatically he is fighting the last fight on his contract, which is not something that the UFC normally does, because the UFC normally signs you to a bigger contract so that if you do end up fighting in your last fight, they still have control of you. But McGregor might be a different situation. It might be a different situation now with how this main event went. Who do you think, or who do you want? I don't know if you want it at all, but who do you think McGregor is going to fight on the last fight of his deal after he recovers from the surgery? If he does, because I do think that that's still a question. If he does come back from this injury.
Well, before we even do that, I do want to say I do think that the injury happened in the ring. Like I saw the jumping videos.
Not a conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't think it's like I think that was a real thing that happened in real time, unfortunately. But to answer your question here, I don't know. Like I sit here and like I don't really want to see Holloway again. I don't really care for it. Like,
technically, the series is tied 1-1.
Yeah, but I don't really care for it. Like if Conor was. There's one or two ways going about this. Do you want to set up your next main event star? let's not sugarcoat it, because you could put him in a fight with Paddy Pimblett, and in a year from now or whenever he's healed up.
Can he make 155?
Well, I mean, go up to 170.
But then Paddy's at 170 year, and then you're trying to build him up at 155. He's supposed to be the next lightweight champion.
We've had like guys just go up for random fights. So that's the thing. Is like Holloway did it, Poirier did it. Like I think that's a normal thing to do. Like guys just going up for it. I think Paddy would enjoy a couple extra burgers. Okay. That's like I said. I think there's two ways going about it. Do you want to build your next star? Like I said, Paddy, do you want to build a Topuria? Do you want to build like some of those guys up? Like try to build them up to be the next face, have them go shit talking back for back.
That wouldn't be bad. Seeing Topuria, like, because those are two guys coming out of pretty dark places personally. Because Topuria is going through that divorce situation, and McGregor's coming off of everything that he's coming off of, and they're both European, so they have built-in international fan bases.
Exactly, it's that, or do you just make it a retirement match? And you give him a guy like Gaethje, where both of them go out swinging at the end, or do you make it a match?
I don't know if he can handle a Gaethje.
I don't know if he can handle that, but like I'm just like saying, do you give him a layup where you're like, hey, you're the co-main event, this is your last fight, we'll give you the swan song, give you the flowers, give you everything, but you're not main eventing. You're gonna get someone that probably is going to be at the back half of their career. I don't know what the name would be, but it's just a swan song, and you go from there. It's like and maybe it's Holloway. Holloway falls into that conversation too. It's like it could be a Holloway, could be a Poirier for all that matters if he wants to come back out and give him one more time, because I heard a lot of shit talking between that. Like there's options out there is all I'll say, and I will say this is like that's the way of going about it. I would prefer the up and comer, if I'm being honest with you. I would prefer the up and comer and Conor either derailing that entirely and showing that he's still got the mystic match and he goes out on top. And we show who, like I said, see if guy's a flop or not, or we build the next star of the UFC. Is how I would go about
it. It would be something if he did have that one more magical run in him, but I think that it's going to be somebody from his past, or possibly, because we said Chandler probably doesn't need to be fighting in the UFC after what I saw with McGregor in his last fight.
Chandler would fall under that. Like I said, that umbrella of retirement, I think
go
out there, you two, and beat each other up for one last time.
If I'm making my pick, I would say that one, because I think that they're just going to kind of stand there and throw bombs at each other, and somebody's going to go down. But the other fights on the card, so Paddy wins by decision or submission in 52 seconds.
Paddy. Oh my gosh, Paddy!
Absolutely mauled Benoit Saint Denis.
That's
guillotine to Frenchman is how I heard it put, and I was like, that historically is accurate. That's actually very accurate.
The guillotine to a guy who wanted to wrestle. Fuck yeah, Paddy! I was like, yes. Mess around and find out. Benoit Saint Denis. I was like, why are you like Benoit Saint Denis is a good fighter on his feet? Like I was like, okay. Want to try it? And then Paddy said, "Oh, you want to try me, motherfucker? I'm from Liverpool, and I will put you in a choke and not have you tap out. You're gonna go to sleep." That's what I'm talking about. The UFC needs to have. If that was the result of the main event, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, we're all the way back." But instead, that's the co-main event. We're having to talk about the shitty main event. But Paddy is a star, and I think the next step would be Topuria. I think that's the next step, unless they give Topuria that immediate rematch against Gaethje, which they could do. But I'm serious. I think we're nearing a Gaethje Pimblett 2 being the next big main event fight, for the UFC, because of what Paddy has done, and I think it's well deserving.
It would be something to see him take that next entrance into superstardom. I could maybe see him. Maybe that's Topuria's comeback fight, where it's a fight to see who, because you can't give Topuria an automatic title shot after what happened against Gaethje, but you can make those two fight it out to see who's number one contender. It would feel like old school UFC days.
That'd be a banger of a fight, is all I'm going to say. That's a co-main or even a main event of a fight night that you're like, hell yeah, appointment viewing.
Yeah. I would definitely watch that one. Whitaker moves up to light heavyweight. He gets a third round TKO. I'm happy for him because he's one of the good guys, and I do listen to a podcast that's based out of New Zealand, so I have a little bit of love for Aotearoa, and I love the New Zealand people, and Robert Whitaker doing what he does from that part of the world. He is more of an inspiration than any of us can imagine, because not many people lived there to begin with. And when you have somebody make it to the level of athletics that he's done, he is a world-class fighter and a world-class kickboxer. And he proved that again, moving up. That's the good thing about having these, middle-sized guys, because when they get older, they get to move up into these weight classes. And you're like, oh, you're actually happy when you don't have to chop a leg off and make 185 pounds. You're a happy 205. You're a plump, happy 205, and I love it, Robbie. I'll take it all day, Whitty.
I mean, I hope he can continue. I think he fought a guy that was on the up and coming, and I think that it was a really good test for that young kid. And I think was it Krylov? Was it? What was the guy's name?
I will get that in a second.
I think it was Krylov. Maybe Krylov was the earlier fight. I can't remember off the top of my head. But like you said, Robbie, if he's able to continue, man, it would be a awesome story. I don't know if he can get to that mountaintop of light heavyweight. Light heaveight's different.
Krylov.
Yeah, Krylov. That's Krylov. Krylov is a good fighter too, and that was no slouch fight. And the fact he was able to get that's huge. But I don't know if it's sustainable to continue to rank up the light heavyweight because of how good the light heavyweight division is. But if anyone's
been a minute since the light heavyweight has been that's the initial marquee division of the UFC. It's been a second since we've had somebody that can really say that they are a true star of that division.
The last one was Pereira.
It was. Maybe it's Whitaker probably needs a couple more fights at light heavyweight before he fights Pereira, but maybe because those are two guys.
Well, Pereira, I think, is now just a heavyweight. I think that's where.
Please get out of heavyweight, man. That you don't handle heavyweight punches as well as you think.
You do not. No,
you don't do that. Gable Stevenson. That is who I was mentioning. The greatest American collegiate wrestler, one of the best Olympic gold medalists that we've had. His match. We used to have a segment here called "How It Should Have Sounded," so I have audio of how I would have called that match, but just the way that he was able to do it, only defeated by his actual last loss in collegiate wrestling against Wyatt Hendrickson, where he was able to pull off the great upset and Gable kind of turned into the heel. This is he's getting trained by Brock Lesnar and John Jones. He has
John Jones being in his corner was fucking terrifying.
Here's the other thing. It's terrifying to know how deadly John Jones. Like if you see John Jones on the street, walk the other way. Walk the other way because
reasons.
But if you get into some sort of physical altercation with him, he was setting up. They're doing some sort of training video trying to show off Gable's skills, and he ends up getting him in some situation where he just pulls his head down straight, flush, knee to the face. And I was like, oh, he could probably whoop a group of 5 people at once. He could probably handle 5 grown men attacking him if they have no weapons on him. And even if they do, he could probably take out whatever weapon is going against him. That is a dangerous, deadly man. And Gable Stevenson is pretty dangerous too. He has heavy power, which is what you expect from a wrestler. You're not going to get him to, if you get him on the ground, you're not controlling him. You have, you better hope your back game is very good. If we're talking about jiu-jitsu players, your back game has to be on point because you're going to be on your back when you fight Gable Stevenson.
Yeah, I mean, if he learns, like, obviously he doesn't need to learn a whole lot more when it comes to wrestling, but if he can learn the hands of John Jones and the ability of how good to be on the feet, like, I mean, we're going to see a fighter that's going to be rising very, very quickly.
Such an explosive athlete. He can do a cartwheel backflip at 200.
Well, yeah, the guy was going to be a WWE wrestler at one point.
Well, yeah. That's why he's good on the mic. He wasn't great in the WWE, but he's pretty damn good in the UFC. He can talk some trash. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
The other fight from this card that everybody was talking about was the opening one. Terrence McKinney gets knocked out with 1 second left in the opening round. King Green gets the knockout victory. That set us up for what everybody was expecting, just absolute fireworks in the main event. But like you said, all of these other fights on their own and together outside of the last one
were good.
Pretty damn good cards.
Like Bobby Green, like they were like, stop the fight because he was on his back and getting punches thrown at him, Terrence McKinney, and then he gets up, lands one, and all of a sudden he wins the fight with at the end of round 1. That was one of the craziest turnarounds I've ever seen. Like outside of like a couple of those fight, like the UFC fight that was here, where it was oh my gosh, whoever that was against Korean Zombie that elbowed him in the face with like 2 seconds left. Like I forgot who that was. I can't remember off the top of my head. But like there's a special type of fighter that has that comeback ability, and Bobby Green, King Green has it. I don't understand the King versus Bobby Green thing, whatever. But McKinney was supposed to be an up-and-coming fighter, and Green doing that to him was very impressive. Both these guys are going to be very good, very strong fighters for a lot of years to come.
Last thing about UFC before we move on to the World Cup. Biggest winner of the weekend. Who is it? Is it Gable? Is it Patty?
I would say it's easily Patty. Like mainly because I think if you sat around and watched the card, like especially if you were the newer fan, you caught the end of the Patty fight and you saw how much saw the walkout, saw how much love the fans for having him, how much fun he has, like how respectful he is to his opponent. Like that's the guy you're like, yeah, I need to watch the next fight. Like Stevenson, yes, you can say the same thing. You can say the same thing for Robbie Wood. You say all the same things for those. But like those guys are still 1-2 more steps away from being a title contender, where we could see Patty headlining his own main event come a couple months from now. So that's a guy that's rocket strapped to him right now, and I think it's well deserving. So that's why I would put away my winner.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say anybody. Patty did what he needed to do on one of the biggest stages that he's had so far. He's had other kind of main event shots, but this one he really punched it through and was able to do good things.
And the biggest loser, Dana White.
Dana's been losing quite a bit over the last year or so. Like lost a lot of money on Freedom 250. Didn't have this one. My cash cow blew his ACL. Damn it!
In the first 5 seconds, poor Dana.
Yeah. Moving on to something that I think has been, I don't know if it's surprising because it's always something that everybody loves to tune into. We're going to talk more just general of everything that's happened up until this point, and then we'll go more into the quarterfinals. We had our first semifinal. We're recording this on Tuesday, so the first semifinal is over. We have one of our finalists, and we have a favorite already dropped out of the tournament. So the expanded format. What do we think of the expanded format? One of the big things. So 48 teams made it this year. 47 of those 48 teams scored a goal. There was one team, and I will have to, as you're talking about this, I will look up which is the only team that did not.
I think it might have been. Let me see if I can get it right. I think it was one of South Africa. It was either South Africa, it was Saudi Arabia, or it was I know Curacao scored a goal, so I know that they don't fall under there. It may have been New Zealand. If I were to guess,
because they had a tie in one of them.
Well, I know, but a tie could have been 0-0. So I don't remember. I would say
Turkey. Turkey definitely. He scored against us. New Zealand, Panama, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. It could have been Panama. I feel like it was Panama because New Zealand did score in one of their matches that they shouldn't have had any business in being in, because New Zealand is a good rugby nation, but not a good football nation, soccer nation. I can't really say soccer anymore after.
Can't say soccer, we lost. Yeah, I know.
Can't say soccer after last week, but just the expanded format. Do you think that this is going to continue? And there's rumors that they maybe move to somebody said 64 from the NCAA tournament. Is FIFA going to move into the 64 team format?
Well, I'll put it this way: like the expanded format needs adjusting, because I think it's and this is our nationality bias coming in, but like I don't know what the purpose of a 50, 68, 64 and a 58 World Cup, Team World Cup, where you have Italy and Poland sitting at home. Like you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do that, your parameters be like, all right, Europe, we know you're one of the best at this, okay? So you get a couple extra teams going to the World Cup. You know what I mean? Like
now we're starting to sound like the college football playoff.
Like, I'm sorry, it ain't all equal.
Big 10, SEC, you get 8 teams. Big 12, I'm sorry, you get 3.
Europe and South America, you get a couple extra bones, okay? You get a couple extra bones getting teams in, as opposed to North America, Asia, all those countries. Like you get normal
North America can say nothing because we all went out in the same round this year. Canada,
that's what
US,
I'm saying.
And
like
Mexico,
if you're going to do that, you gotta extend it to be a little bit smarter when it comes to who comes in. Is all I'm going to say. Is because let's not shit ourselves here. If Italy was in the tournament, it probably would have been more entertainment if it was Italy versus the U.S. in round one. You know what I mean? Like instead of
Bosnia is the one.
Bosnia deserved it. They deserved it to be there. They beat them, okay? But I'm just saying, if the U.S. if Italy,
was it on penalties? Do we know?
It was on penalties. It was. I watched that.
So then I'm definitely giving you a little bit less credit, Bosnia, and I'm also giving you even less credit because your best player comes from where, Nico? Appleton, Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly. I as an American, I like it. As a probably a soccer fan, I don't. I will say it's like. The way the cup, the World Cup is set up, it was really beneficial to have it that many teams because you had 3 games a day, sometimes 4 games a day for 25 straight days. Like that's why people fall in love
in
with
the middle of nothing else going
on. Nothing else going on.
You would watch, and my family watched World Cup soccer over MLB baseball every time.
I didn't even know that the All-Star game was this weekend because I've been so hot up with the World Cup.
This is if we're talking about dead weeks in sports, this upcoming week is the deadest week of all weeks in sports because nothing is happening NFL wise unless something else comes out. We are going to talk about some NFL coming up, by the way. Don't you worry. I got something for everybody.
I just sit here and be like, yeah, it would be nice to have less teams and have more competitive games in the group stage. But if we have that, we don't have Vazinha, the Cape Verde goalie, which, by the way, the only team that Spain has not beaten yet this entire tournament was Cape Verde and the goalie of Vazinha. Okay, that wouldn't have happened with a smaller tournament. Okay, so. I think that we're at a good size, but I think we need to be smarter about who gets admitted to the World Cup, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and we don't need as many automatic qualifications because do I think that we would have beaten Belgium if we had to actually qualify? Probably not, but there is that extra level, like we talked about in regular seasons of all of our American sports. If you have to play playoff meaningful games going into the end of the season, you're normally more prepared for when those knockout stages happened. And I saw something too. I almost put it in as a topic, but I saw Balogun come out and say, and that'll lead us into my next topic because I want to focus a little bit on the U.S. team because we talked about the bad last episode. We can kind of talk about the entire thing as a whole. But Balogun came out and said, and was in a ESPN article as being quoted, he did think that kind of changed everything. Like, now the nerves, the pressure, everything that we kind of said, the pressure for the United States got turned up and they just were not able to handle it. So that was why the lights seemed as bright as they were. And I will give Balogun credit because there was a couple times that I thought he was going to score and I wanted him to score so badly in that game. Even if we lost 5-2, I just wanted to see a Balogun goal. But he even acknowledged this team was not mentally strong enough to overcome the fact that my suspension got suspended. Like that was how outclassed we were at that level of the tournament in those knockout stages.
Yeah, I mean, like he hit the nail on the head. It's a guy who plays in Europe for a reason, and you look at the different guys like Malik Tillman, who also played really, really well, had the exact same comment. It's like they're not ready, and now after playing a tournament like that on home soil, yeah, it's unfortunate that you won't get this back. You do run into a situation where you'll maybe be more prepared the next World Cup. So, but yeah, I mean, like we're seeing.
And let's go through the good things again too, because they won their group. I believe that's the first time in American soccer history that they won their group. They won back-to-back games for the first time since 1930s. They beat Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's the first knockout stage game that they won. And I know that we said it last week. It only counts the same as the last couple tournaments because that's basically as far as they would have been. But you won a knockout stage game for the first time in 26 years. And there is a lot of potential because I was out there. We had contact camp. We're in our helmets and shoulder pads for football. But there was a couple people out there working on their soccer skills and trying to, improve their touches and try and improve their ball control. The issue that I continue to see, and what we kind of hit last week, the issue is not that there's very skilled players, but the issue is in every one of these other countries outside of Canada and maybe outside of Mexico, because Mexico has picked up some other sports along the way. When you see kids just roaming around playing sports, they're playing pickup soccer. And in those thousands of minuscule reps that mean nothing playing pickup soccer, you develop even more of those hard refined skills. And we don't have enough players with those skills. So it was a great tournament and it has a lot of potential, but there needs to be something to change about, like, if we see some pickup soccer happening in the United States, maybe I'll feel a little bit better about the next World Cup coming around. But that is probably where I'm sitting with it the most. Is it was good, but it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think we'll ever be good enough. Like, I mean, I don't think in my lifetime we'll win a World Cup final. Like, maybe at the end of my life.
If we get to a quarterfinal stage, I will actually adopt U.S. men's soccer as one of my sports. If we make it to a semifinal.
Yeah, I think like I said, it's very weird because every 4 years you only get so many opportunities. But like I said, unfortunately, like countries like Spain, like Spain was down to the rights after they won the World Cup 2010. They haven't been they were knocked out in the last 2 World Cups by penalty kicks in the second round. Like they weren't even Final Four finalists. And look at them now; they're back at a World Cup final. They've already overpassed us. Like obviously Spain that's their sport, right? But
that's what I'm talking about. You will walk around everywhere in Spain and see kids just playing soccer, whether it's 11-on-11 or 5-on-5.
But at the same time, like Belgium, we thought we had a chance against them, and we got our ass kicked by their golden generation. By their golden generation being old. By their golden generation being old. Like look, we have a long ways to go. But that's not taking away anything from this tournament from the U.S. because I thought the team was very good. And look, they proved they were who they were. It's not like they proved anything differently. They proved that honestly they're probably better, a little bit better, if anything than we thought they were. Because a lot of people didn't even pick us to win the group, and we won the group outright before the third game started. And then we won a game we should have won, but by no means are we the cream of the crop. So.
What is the final grade you would give since I'm getting ready to go back to school? We got our back to school emails from our principals here. Summer break as a teacher is almost over. Overall grade that you would give this U.S. men's team in the World Cup this year?
B-. C is average.
C is average, yeah.
C is average, and C plus I think it's too harsh. B- is like, you know what, you outperformed, but you still did some things that had me shaking my head.
You broke 79%, but you basically got to 81%, which is good. But
you got a grade that your parents can look at when they go home and be like, wow, actually that's not half bad. That's exactly that's what it was.
And this is like taking calculus. This is not just taking some random basket weaving class. This is a grade A challenging class, and especially with the corruption. Like, add in all the corruption that I've seen. And I watched the FIFA Netflix documentary, and that was a mistake. I shouldn't have watched that before the end of the World Cup. But just everything that's going on, and we'll see what happens on Wednesday. Unfortunately, we're not going to have the results of the England-Argentina game, but there's some things that we've talked about, the officiating and all of that kind of stuff. I think B- is fair.
This France versus Spain game that I watched, and I want to touch on the Final Four because obviously we're recording before the Argentina England game, and we won't record until the World Cup's over. So I want to touch on these Final Four because the Spain game, everyone had everyone had France as their winner. I had them as my winner. I thought their offensive firepower was something that was going to be unmatched. But at the same time,
there has not been a back-to-back World Cup champion since 1968.
Well, we still could have that because Argentina is still in, so we don't know about that. But Spain showed what they did at the Euros 2 years ago and how good defensively they are and how good their possession, how suffocating they are. Obviously, the penalty, you can argue that Lamine Yamal flopped a little bit and jumped into a kick in the leg in the box to get that. But I think that was a well-awarded penalty. And then I think Spain just dominated all points attack. They did not allow did not allow Mbappe a chance to do anything. Did not allow Dembele, who a Ballon d'Or guy, produce anything. Elise was nowhere to be seen. Barcola and Doué was nothing to be seen. That 5-headed monster up front, you sat there being like, they're not doing much out there. They're not really being very productive. And
you know who the only country is to score on Spain in this entire tournament?
Well, it was Vizinha. No,
Belgium.
Wasn't Vizinha. It was Belgium. Yeah, that's right.
It was Belgium. Belgium is the only team to score on Spain because they beat Belgium 2-1. And I adopted Spain because I wanted them to get my get back for the U.S. against Belgium, and they didn't really do that great in that game. They kind of just did what they had to. This was more of they were attacking, they were high flying, but then they showed that's the thing. Nobody scores on the Spaniards.
They play very boring style soccer. They play early 2000s Germany soccer, where they suffocate you with their possession time. And when you make a mistake when you get frustrated, trying to go tackle the ball is where they make you pay. And you saw it with Saliba going down in the first half there of the semifinal game where France was really, really struggling. I thought they'd bring in Konate from Liverpool, now a Real Madrid guy, but they kept going with the young depth, and I was just so confused what France was doing defensively, because you could tell they were getting frustrated. Because after that penalty kick in the first half, you're like, well, France now has to play a little bit aggressive, and when they had to dictate their own pace, Spain did not let them. And like I said, credits to Unai Simon and the Spaniard defense, Pau Kubasi and Huijsen. They have such a good young defense that this Spain team, it's very, very, it's a very frustrating team to play against.
They have not trailed at all this tournament. This is also the first time France trailed at all in this entire World Cup tournament. So that was a really heavyweight style. Nobody knew how that one was going to go. I think that everybody was giving France the nod because of what they've done recently, but Spain was definitely good enough to do what they did. Looking ahead to the one that we have not seen, and what everybody will know, everybody will have seen the result when they listen to this on Thursday, but just that Argentina-England matchup, the disallowed goal in that quarterfinal between Norway and England. That's it's putting my spidey senses tingling up a little bit, especially also because then you have the red card against Switzerland and Argentina. I feel like they wanted to set up this rematch. It's not just a football rematch. This is a global conflict rematch. The Falkland War did happen. Britain absolutely wiped out Argentina on the coast of their own home country. But this is one that, you get Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham against Messi, who everybody is saying is rigged for this tournament, and all the other star power that Argentina has. Is this the greatest game that we've seen in this tournament? And who do you, where are you leaning on this one? Because there is no affiliation. Like, Argentina and England are two of the most hated teams, the rest of the world, especially with what they've done in this tournament. But just where are you leaning with this one?
I'm not going to give a prediction because the game won't be over when it's said all said and done. I won't say it. I think it will be a fantastic game. I think the Spain and France game will end up being a better match, and I think that because of the stylistic styles of France and Spain being so evenly matched as opposed to England and Argentina, kind of had some gritty wins. Obviously, Argentina going to extra time to beat Switzerland, and England going to extra time to beat Norway. A little bit different in that sense. But I will say, these are two teams that I think are going opposite directions. I think England is trending upwards, and I think Argentina is trending downwards. You look at who England had to go through, right? They had to go through Mexico in the Azteca. That is a very, very difficult place to play. Obviously, you have to go through Norway, the hottest team in the tournament, and you have arguably the best player in the world, Erling Haaland, on the other end.
Some of the worst weather conditions that they've experienced.
Exactly. And then on the other side, you have Argentina, who had to go through Egypt, which they struggled with. And Egypt is by no means one of the topper ends of the team. They got to go through Switzerland, who Switzerland is not a very, very good top-end team as well. They were a lower half team that got scaped through, that got scraped through Colombia and got to make it this far. Like Algeria, Colombia. I think England is set for prominence and a chance to play in the final. I think that with the way Jude is playing, the way Harry Kane, who's one of the best, if not the best player in the world, Harry Kane, the striker, I think the one downfall that England will have is their back end, because I think Argentina is better. Emiliano Martinez, the goalie that obviously stood on his head and helped Argentina win the World Cup in penalty kicks in 2022, is still there, and he helps them a lot, as opposed to Pickford, who's not very, very good. And this defense back line, it's the center backs mainly what I'm talking about. The right and left back, Nico Riley, Morgan Evans, are very, very good. But I think that if Messi and Argentina want to have a chance to repeat, it's going to take Lautaro Martinez and Messi to be strong on their foot and have Julian Alvarez at least get one or two in the back of the net, because England has shown that if you play an even game with them, that they're really you're playing to their pace, and that's not good for them. And Argentina has fallen behind a handful of times or even the score a lot of times where they should have been up. And if they do that against England, it's not going to end up well for them.
This is the first time that these two countries are meeting in the World Cup since the Hand of God Maradona incident, which was in the World Cup final. If Argentina moves forward, they would be in contention of being the first repeat champion since Brazil in 1962. I'm kind of sitting here and I watched a documentary I found on Jude Bellingham. So I've seen kind of what he's done through. He initially started playing professionally in Germany and then moved into Real Madrid with in the Spanish country. But just, I don't want England to win it. But sitting here, who is the bigger villain in this game? It would be Argentina, because Argentina should not be here. Argentina should have gotten beat by Egypt. Argentina had a phantom red card that literally made them play with one extra guy. And, guess what? They scored 2 goals in extra time playing up an extra man. So there's so much that I just don't. And I know if I'm sitting here and you ask me Messi or Ronaldo, I will say Messi every time because he is the more humble of the two superstars. But
he's also the better of the two. But
he is the better of the two players too. But he's kind of a prick. He's not as nice of a person. Like when you understand the Spanish that he speaks in his interviews, he's not a jovial person. He's not happy all the time. He's happy when he scores goals, and that's it. He's not an Argentinian hero, but he's not a world-class hero or anything like that. And he plays in Inter Miami. So I guess, hey, MLS, let's get another World Cup finalist. But just I'm excited to see what this has in store, because like I said, this is more than just a football rivalry. This is a former political rivalry that these two countries still do not like each other because of that incident back in the 1980s, and then the World Cup final with the Hand of God and all that kind of stuff. And Maradona plays into that too, because I know Maradona could have said, no, I definitely headed that ball in. He said, no, God just guided my hand towards the ball, and the referees just allowed the goal. That was what happened. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be fireworks to see who gets in to play Spain. If you were, I know that we're not making predictions for the other semifinal game, but who do you sit right now, knowing that this is way early? Who do you see in the World Cup final, and do you see a champion at this point?
I see Spain winning it all. That's how I see it. I see Spain taking the World Cup final. I had England in my final for a reason, and I have England going through still. I think Spain's defense is going to be just defibrillating. I think that it's going to be a chokehold that they'll have on the English attack, and that English defense is not as good to deal with the attack of Yamal and Alcazar and Ferran Torres, and Pedri and Rodri. They have so much depth from the midfield. That's one thing Spain is really, really good at consistently. I think Spain is the team to beat, and I think the way they're playing, it's going to be very, very difficult to see, and see Argentina or England winning. I heard this on the broadcast when I was listening to the France-Spain game today. It made a lot of sense. It's like when Spain went up 2-0 on France, the commenter, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, made a good point. Is like, if France want to have a chance to get back to World Cup final, they're going to have to double the amount of goals that Spain has given up this tournament. Like think about that. If they want to have a chance of tying it to get to extra time, they're going to have to double the amount of goals that Spain has given up this entire tournament. That is an insane stat. I kid you not.
It is an insane stat, but I have seen Harry Kane and I've seen Lionel Messi overcome some insane time.
That's true, but the Spain team has faced Ronaldo, has faced Mbappe, has faced Dembele, has faced some of the best offensive firepower in the world. So I will say, Messi is different, Kane is different, but it's not. Mbappe is better than all of them right now. Okay, Mbappe, he's MLS bound, okay? But that dude is still better than everyone over there. So if they can do it against Mbappe, and I'm sorry, I'll stop with that. But it's better than Mbappe, better than Olise, better than all those guys. I'm sorry, that's something that can be very well, not easily, but very well done against England or Argentina.
We will have plenty of coverage knowing now who wins the World Cup, and we will not necessarily look ahead, but kind of wrap up our soccer coverage for the summer and maybe start
for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I said 2 years. Two years. The Women's World Cup happens in Brazil in 2 years, and then in another 6 years, it could be here in Denver. So we'll probably be talking about that if everybody continues to rock with us. I have something that I know is going to get Nico going because it's the middle of the summer, and why would he want to talk about NFL football in the middle of the summer? But this is when ESPN goes around and talks to coaches, they talk to scouts, they talk to executives, and they put together their top 10s of all position rankings. But we're going to start with quarterbacks because if all of you football fans that are sticking around, English football fans, we are now talking about the most important position. What would you compare the quarterback position to in soccer? What is the most important position to have on the field? Is it striker? Because I'm thinking striker with what I've seen in this tournament.
No, I would say you're number 10, which is like your attacking midfielder.
Okay, so there you go. You're number 10. We're talking about every team in the NFL is number 10, and we're talking about the top 10 number 10s according to anonymous polls released by Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. And I'll just go. So actually, we'll do a fun radio style segment. Give me who you think. Did you look up this article before?
No, I heard about it on the radio this morning. I know Bo Nix is in the top 10.
You know Bo Nix is out. But
mentioned.
Who do you think is the top? I'll give me 2 guesses as to who you think is in the top 3. If you go 2 out of 3, I'll give you some credit here. Who do you think is the top 3 quarterbacks according to Jeremy Fowler in the NFL?
Well, Matthew Stafford was just the MVP, so I'll say Stafford.
He's in the top 3.
Okay. I'll go. Boy, I think it would be it. I mean, Drake May had a great season last year, but I don't know if you put him above some of these other guys. I'd say Josh Allen is the top 3.
Josh Allen is also in the top 3, so you did go 2 out of 3.
Is that 1 and 2, or is that 1 and 3?
That's 1 and 3. That's 1 and 3. So do you want to try and see who you think falls in between those two? Because I don't think you're going to get it based on how last season went.
Based upon how so that helps me a little bit.
I gave you a big hint there.
So based upon how last season went, then I would say they put Mahomes 2.
Mahomes is 2. Okay. So your top 3 is Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford. Who do you think is just outside of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL?
I would say now they put Drake May in this conversation.
Nope. Drake May did not make this one. Drake May is not there. Okay, he is in the top 10, but he's not in that spot of the list. It is not somebody who had playoff success last season, Nico. It is not somebody who had any playoff success.
I'm so far removed from football. I got to think of football teams who had no playoff success.
Look at me.
Burrow.
There you go. That's number 4. Joe Burrow is number 4. You have Lamar Jackson at number 5.
Okay.
Number 6 is Dak Prescott.
Okay, that's our first shocker. That's the first one where I'm like, okay, that's a little too high.
Continue to have your jaw dropped. Here you go. Number 7, ahead of Drake May, is Justin Herbert. Drake May is number 8.
I'll say this. I think 7 is a good spot for him. I think above Drake May doesn't. I don't think should count. I think it should be Drake May at 6 and ahead of Herbert, and then Herbert 7. I don't think Herbert at 7.
So you would swap Herbert and Prescott at this point, or not? Yeah, you would.
I would swap May and Prescott. Yeah, I would have a different top 5 like rearranged. I would have a different top 5 rearranged, but I don't think we're very far off right now.
After Drake May, who do you think is 8, or who do you think is 9 and 10?
I don't know. It's going to be something absurd now because I know Bo Nix isn't in there.
Jared Goff is number 9. Okay. Caleb Williams comes in at number 10.
There's 2 problems I have there. I'll say this: Bo Nix right now has as much playoff success as Caleb Williams. So I really don't think that
he has more playoff success than Caleb Williams because Caleb Williams has never made a conference championship.
Oh, I thought he might have last year or maybe
they won one playoff game and lost in the divisional round last year.
That's right. That's what it was. See, like I said, I'm so far football removed. I don't even remember time at this point. Yeah,
Bo Nix might have caught.
Bo Nix makes a Super. Bo Nix makes a Super Bowl. He's probably 6th on this list. Like let's not sugarcoat it. The injury does not help him. But like if he got the Broncos to a Super Bowl and played in the AFC Championship and actually competed, I would have put him above them.
Okay, well, I think what you're talking about, his injury kind of left him off of this honorable mentions list. Who do you think are some of these honorable mention quarterbacks that got just left outside?
Well, first of all, a name that is pissing me off a little bit, especially after what he did in the playoffs. Sam Darnold should be in the top 10 above some of these guys.
Sam Darnold is in the honorable mentions, so you
Sam
got one out of
Darnold
those.
should be above Dak, should be above Caleb Williams, should be above Jared Goff, in my opinion. Like
seeing Ghost Clip is haunting him. No pun intended.
I know, but at the same time, like people got to start calling Sam Darnold as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. This Sam Darnold, okay? I think that
the first quarterback to win 14 games in a row in back-to-back seasons.
Exactly. Like I think we're giving Sam Darnold a little bit of hate. He's not wearing green anymore. Okay, we got to give him. It's a different shade of green. Okay, we got to give him a little bit of love.
There are some quarterbacks in here that are really going to make you mad. Who do you think is a quarterback that would really just stick in your craw that he was ranked higher than Bo Nix after last season?
Well, if you really want to stick it to me, it'd be Fernando Mendoza, but there's no way.
No, he's not in the. Think of guys that have been in the league. Think of guys that were in the draft class. No, think of guys that were in the draft class as Bo Nix that maybe had a better rookie season, but in the last 2 years have not done anything.
They put Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels is an honorable mention top quarterback in the NFL ahead of Bo Nix. You know, here's the other thing. This is what kind of got to me the most. And again, I'm not the bigger Bronco fan. Nico's the bigger Bronco fan, but I'm more dialed into football all year out. They put CJ Stroud in the same category as Bo Nix as others receiving votes. CJ Stroud, it was Bo Nix and CJ Stroud as the others receiving votes. Talk about a guy that's living off of his rookie season. Holy shit.
I mean, look, it's frustrating, but at the same time, like, look, they had predicted us to be the third team in the AFC West this last year. Okay, so like I think that when you look at these rankings, it's all like, oh well, these guys think this guy's better. Cool. Popularity contests don't win you football games. So
you know what else it is? They think that the team around him is much better. And when we get to some of these other position rankings, you're going to be pleasantly surprised with a lot of the other guys that got ranked pretty high in their position group. But it baffles me that all of the ways, think about all of those games that the Broncos won last season. Was it perfect from Bo Nix? No. But in the moments that you needed to go down and win, he was winning.
He outplayed the number 3 quarterback on this list in a playoff game. Like that's a lot of ownership. I think that people aren't forgetting. Josh
the number one quarterback on this list.
Oh, Josh
He's
Allen
the number one.
I thought Matt Stafford was 1.
No, Matt Stafford was 3.
The number 1 quarterback on this list was outplayed by a guy that was not even an honorable mention.
Others receiving votes. The obligatory CSU college football ranking. I love the fact that he does others receiving votes, but the fact that it was Bo Nix and CJ Stroud as others receiving votes. Tell me you don't watch actual NFL football. Those are just.
It's fine.
You know what it was? It was people it was scouts that didn't want to get rid of their take that he was the 6th best quarterback of his draft class, even though he's one of the only guys that's been a starter all 3 years.
I'll take my quarterback being an honorable mention / getting votes. Oh, my guy, that guy over that guy who beat the number 1 quarterback and outplayed him in a playoff game, as opposed to a guy in Dak Prescott who hasn't been to a conference finals.
You're being really nice to me. You're being really nice to me because you know what I wanted to do out of this conversation? I wanted to go the total opposite way. I'm pissed Joe Burrow got ranked as the 4th best quarterback after the last 3 seasons. Like how do you look at what that has happened in Cincinnati over the last 3 seasons and say he's still the 4th best quarterback? I guess because his team is so terrible around him.
So my question is who jumps in?
I would say that he can't be above Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson's made it to the playoffs and won playoff games in those 3 seasons.
Okay, that's fair. So there's
and that's coming from me, a guy that regularly says Lamar Jackson is a running back instead of a quarterback. But I would say that Lamar Jackson over the last few years.
It's like I think the lowest you put Burrow is 5.
I would say, yeah. No, he's definitely talent-wise, he's a top 5 quarterback, and he's going to make some other franchise so happy when he wins all of the Super Bowl.
I see your argument being like, well, why is Burrow 4? Like, it should be lower. But at the same time, I'm sitting here and being like, yeah, he's better than Dak. Yeah, he's absolutely better than Herbert. Yeah, he's better than everyone 6 through 10. I think the only argument is Lamar because Lamar has been healthy and got his team to the playoffs. But still in a playoff game, will probably take Burrow. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think 4 is wrong because I think he's below Allen, Stafford, and Mahomes, but I think he's like right in that Lamar Jackson era. I think he's in that conversation with Stafford at 3, but like he hasn't done anything and made the playoffs the last couple of years, so he's not at 3, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's more of like the personal fan. I would rather him get ranked lower so that he has a little bit more. I don't know if it would affect him, but just like we need something. We need something else to play for this season because it ain't the coach and it ain't the scheme and it ain't everybody else around. Who knows? We'll get more into how the actual NFL season is going to go. I wanted to bring that up. We'll look at more of the position rankings. We are going to get into our second ad break of the show, thanks to All Gloves Off Sports Media Network. This is going to be our 5-core ad, and when we come back, we have our versus debate. If you are a video game fan, this one is going to be right up your alley. We're going best video games to binge over summer break. So all of those times that we absolutely disappeared between May and August, you will now understand the top 5 reasons why, and we will get to that right after this break.
Are you looking to upgrade your podcasting equipment without downgrading your wallet? Then I've got the perfect website for you. Head over to 5core.com and check out everything they have to offer for creators, podcasters, musicians, streamers, and anyone looking to level up their sound. 5core.com, based out of Bellefontaine, Ohio, has a 25-man roster of audio gear, and let me tell you, the farm system is loaded too. We're talking amplifiers, audio mixers, microphones, headphones, music stands, car audio, and all the cables and connectors you need to build your setup the right way. And this is not some random brand either. 5Core has more than 35 years experience, trusted products, great prices, and quality merchandise currently supplied to more than 65 countries worldwide. So whether you're starting your first podcast, upgrading your home studio, setting up for live events, or just tired of sounding like you're recording from the bottom of a Gatorade cooler, 5core.com is worth your time. They even have podcast bundles that can include a mixer, microphone, headphones, and a microphone stand, depending on how much money you want to invest. I've seen bundles starting as low as $29.99, and with over 900 different products, 5Core gives you options without wigging your wallet and tapping it out in the first round. With an unwavering commitment to quality, innovation, and excellence, 5core.com is ready to help you sound better, record cleaner, and build the setup you've been putting off. So from OHIO, support them, support us here at All Gloves Off Sports Media, head to 5core.com and save 10%. Upgrade your sound. You won't be sorry. And now back to your favorite sports podcast.
Thank you very much to 5core.com and All Gloves Off Sports Media. We really enjoyed being on the show, and hopefully everybody that's tuning in from their channels are enjoying the content that we bring to you. We're getting into the back half of our show. We have a different segment every summer. We've had different ones. We've had trivia. We've had back and forths. This one has been one of the more successful ones that we've done, the versus debates, because as much as I like to tell people, Nico and I became friends when we were 11 years old. I started playing on his football team in 6th grade. We started going to school in 7th grade. We are very close, but we are also very different. And that is evidenced by the list that we put out.
Our friendship started when we were playing UFC in his basement. That's how it began.
And tell them everybody can. I'm putting but just you remember. I have a pen and paper here. I am an English teacher in this upcoming school year, but I was always like the writer of the group, and we would make paper brackets of the UFC. We would have my parents. I love my parents for a lot of things. One of the things that they did was they would always have great team parties. Everybody would be invited over. We would just hang out, have a blast. Adults would be upstairs. I would have the PlayStation 3 at the time, and we were playing UFC 3 with Brock Lesnar on the cover, and we would make paper brackets. So Nico and I play video games that are the same, but now as we've gotten into adulthood and we spend our time differently, we play different games now, so it'll be somewhat the same, but somewhat different. I'm glad as I got your list. We don't have any of the same ones, but I love all the games that you put on your list.
My list has changed like a lot over the years. I used to be huge. Like I know this is going to be like number 1 on your list, if not number 2 on your list. It's like I used to be big NCAA football the last couple of years. I kind of got a little bit old of it and been traveling a lot. So playing certain games a little bit more. Like I used to be a big Madden player. That's not a thing for me anymore. It used to be a huge 2K drop day was like a thing. I was like, oh, 2K drop, play it for 12 hours straight. Like I remember that being a thing. Like now I barely ever play 2K
that. Is totally different. I watched some of the clips on TikTok of players playing in like those one-on-one gyms in 2K, and they're like guys with 18,000 hours of gameplay. And I'm like, I sucked at it anyways. There ain't no way. I couldn't even.
It's not as fun anymore, unfortunately. It's like this. Like at some point, it started becoming the same old, and these games. A lot of these games I have right now are a lot different in so many different ways. So
let's get into our list. Let's go 5-1. So what is your number 5 game? This is how we would spend our summer break. So from the time that we were out of school in May to the time that we came back to school in August, what would you absolutely lose your time playing?
Yeah, right now, because like I said, right now. So I put
it is 5. Summer break. It is still summer break.
Yeah, it is summer break. Not for me, unfortunately, but for a lot of people. WWE 2K26 is on 5. Is that a shocker? Yes, it can be. But I will say, I have a lot of fun playing that game. There's a lot of like fun things you do in that game. There's something for everybody. You want to play a tag team match? You want to do Hell in a Cell? You want to do you want to just do a normal match? You want to create a fighter and make him look like Nacho Libre? You can do that. Like that's just a game that has so many different things that make it so much fun and play. And who doesn't like fighting as The Rock or being John Cena or like being like Stone Cold Steve Austin and flipping off your opponent? Like that's a game that I still to this day enjoy playing a lot and love building characters, and especially playing with the newer characters of today, like the Pentas of the world, and teaming him up with like Rey Mysterio, and like playing with Goldberg and having him play against Brock Lesnar. And
the WWE career
storyline,
the career storylines are some of the best because obviously they know the script. And I feel like there was a time where they were doing the shows on TV to do really good video game scripts because they ended up playing out really well. It wasn't 2K26 that I was making my characters, but as when I was coming up with different characters in high school, one of them was Cougar Bait, and that was where I came up with the design for Cougar Bait, which is a leopard printed pink spandex tight. Like, yeah, I love the creatability and the customization factor of it. 2K26. If you turn it, so do you play with limited number of reversals, or do you just have unlimited reversals if you can catch it? Because that's where I kind of fell out of love with those games.
Yeah,
I would rather have unlimited reversals if I can.
Yeah, I did the unlimited.
It's seeing some of these guys play with limited ones. I'm like, I could not stand getting my ass handed to me that long of a match.
Yeah,
I just couldn't do
that. No, I couldn't do that either.
Speaking of, this is a game. So my number 5 is Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero, a newer game again, but it's one I actually did try and play an online match. And speaking of those kids that spend thousands of hours on gameplay and have no time for anything else in this game. So in Dragon Ball, they like do the double-handed slams, kind of like what you see Superman do, and they knock you just across the screen. Well, then you can instant teleport to where you're going to land, and they can hit you back to the other side. So I played a game against some 11-year-old kid from India, and he knocked my ass across the screen for the entire match. I did not fire a single attack. It was like I was playing old school Nintendo with Pong, just dunk, dunk, dunk. Oh, that's not good. This isn't good. This isn't going well. But I love the story version, and I'm building up my characters. So maybe some point 15 years in the future, I can play an online match and maybe have a character that can stand up to somebody. But I love Dragon Ball as a series, and the Sparkling Zero video game. If you're not a fan, check it out because it's easy to download. It's not that expensive, and it's a good old school classic fighting game, especially with some very powered up players.
Absolutely, those Dragon Ball Z games. I remember playing those on little machines at the arcade too. That Dragon Ball Z was so much fun in those games. So number 4, I threw this in here. I haven't played this game in a year, but I will be starting it up here soon in the next week for many reasons. And I think it's a very fair. It's one of my favorite game through. If we're talking about games to binge, Spider-Man and PlayStation games are one of one. Okay. And the honorable mention that I didn't throw in here as well, and that you don't have either as well, is the Dark Knight games and the
Arkham Asylum games. Yeah,
the Arkham Asylum games. Excuse me, not Dark Knight. The Arkham Asylum games, I think, go hand in hand, and the Spider-Man ones are the more up to date version of it. But being able to swing through everything and fight different villains and be able to do all that and become Spider-Man and wear different skins. I'm sorry, like. I love Spider-Man, dog. And the fact that we are less than half a month away from the new Spider-Man movie coming out and the possibility of new X-Men, Jean Grey.
Next week.
Punisher.
Next week it's coming out.
all of this coming out, like that we are that close to that. Like I will be playing through the PlayStation games again because I love those games and they're so much fun. And the second game, I literally remember sitting like I was home or I was in the off season or something. I can't remember. It was like during the winter season, during the winter when I didn't work for the Mammoth. I literally finished the game one day. I woke up at 8 a.m. and I said, I will be playing this all day. I stopped to go to the bathroom and eat, and that was it. And I finished the game. And I was like, damn, I am such a loser. But that was so sick.
A lot of these, especially like when I put the summer break qualifier over it, it was more of my PlayStation 3. But the Spider-Man game that they put out on PlayStation 3 is one of the – I didn't get all the way through it. I wish I did before I moved on to something else. But that was one, those games are, I think that and Spider-Man and Batman are fun because they have such a good sense, and the fighting sequences, you can dodge in the middle of an attack. And that's something that you can't normally do in other video games. My number 4 is College Football 26. This one is
I was going to say that feels low, but obviously you have number 2.
It's a pin. So. Well, yeah, no, I'm going to save the other one and the reason why, but this one, it was where I started the Rise of the Roadrunner series. So I did it with myself and AI for like College Football 25. I was playing through a Road to Glory and I would have it write just, give it my stats and have it write articles back. And I was like, this could be, people like watching gameplay on YouTube. Might as well start putting gameplay out on YouTube. And the series has done what it has done. And it's given me a reason to write, but College Football 26, and I made sure to run this by my freshman football players. The reason why it's 26 and not 25, because I love 25, mainly because it was like the nostalgia and, everything's coming back and my life is back in order because there's a college football video game coming out. 26, it's because of the Road to Glory and you play more of your high school season. Only having the playoff in 25 is what knocked this one down for me. Speaking of which, we can finally play College Football 27 because they took out the microtransactions. So if you are video gamer and you know exactly what I'm talking about, they have eliminated the 2K element of College Football 27. You no longer have to pay $100 to upgrade your player to the highest level. It is now based on time, experience, sliders. It is perfect, back to the way that it is. I was going to tell people before they made this decision to boycott College Football 27, but now everybody at Benchwarmers, you can go ahead and play it with my permission. You now have my blessing to go ahead and play College Football 27, but College Football 26, and if you are interested in more gameplay, check out Rise of the Roadrunners. It's on there for a reason, but college football video games, there's almost nothing better.
Yeah, I mean the first game that came back out, I remember playing that every day. Like that thing was unreal. I was addicted to it. It was so much fun. I've lost a little bit of touch because of, like you said, the microtransactions and all that.
I have 500 hours logged on 25. I have like 330 on 26, but there's because that was
wasn't 24 the first one, or was it 25?
No, it was 25. 25 is the first one that came out, but I had my PlayStation Portal at the time. And I logged so many hours just sitting on my couch, not even in front of my PlayStation, just playing on the PlayStation Portal, like 450 hours of College Football 25.
Yeah, College Football 25, that game was it. And like I said, I don't blame you for continuing on those great games. My number 3 is an old reliable. Like, I whenever I need a game that, you're like, you know what should I play today? I'm really kind of tired of this game. Well, I'm tired of that game. What do I need to go to? Fortnite. I'm sorry. This is going to be on every one of my lists forever. I know it's a child's game. I know it's outdated. I know that and the other thing. Okay, Fortnite is my go-to all-time game. Like if I ever need a little bit of happiness, I put on Fortnite and I play no build mode and I speed up some sweats. Okay, that was my whole life from all of my college. I would go to class. I would play sports. Then I'd play Fortnite, and that's exactly how I would do it. And I would study in between there. That's exactly, and sleep was optional. That was my whole life in college. So, Fortnite was, just one of one game. It still is, and the fact that they keep bringing up new stuff, it makes it so fun.
I feel even worse about this, but I'm one of the probably really small minority of the population. I have never played a single round of Fortnite. Never.
That would
never,
be
ever.
That would be a very fun experiment to try to get you your first win.
We have a Twitch channel. So all I need to do is download it to my PlayStation 5.
I still remember my first solo win like the back of my hand. Man, that was.
It would be years at this point for me to try and get a solo win. There would be absolutely no chance. But I watched a lot of people play it in college, and the other one too, Apex Legends. which was more of like I think it was like the swords. It was not as much gunplay, but it was more sword fighting. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm not an online gamer in general. If I play online, my skill level gets shown really quickly. I'm good against the computer, but everything else, it's not as great. My number 3, Fight Night Round 4. This was the last Fight Night game that they've made. It's really the last real big boxing game that I remember. It was for PlayStation 3, but it was the one that you can fight Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. And it was the right stick is controlling all of the punches. So if you flicked it to the left or the right was how you decided which punch you were going to throw. They had the ability to headbutt. They had the ability to low blow. Fight Night Round 4, you could play through your own career. So what you were talking about with WWE, I would make Rocky. I would make myself. I would just make anybody that I could think of as a Fight Night Round 4, my career boxer, and just fight my way up through whichever division. Like sometimes I would go middleweight so I can fight Gotti or Marvelous Marvin Hagler. But other times I would put myself, Rocky Balboa, 202 pounds from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to fight my way to see if I can knock the heavyweight title off of Mike Tyson. Come on now. It's beautiful. Come on now.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, those boxing games are great. They cannot complain about them. My number 2, I threw in another nerdy one, Marvel Rivals. I was a person that never really played Overwatch. My little brother loved playing Overwatch, played it a few times, loved it. Was like, I like it a lot, but never really got into it. And then Marvel Rivals come out, and you're telling me I could play the same type of games that I play in Overwatch and play with Deadpool. I could play with the Hulk. I could play with Iron Man. I could play with Captain America. I could play with the Thing. I could play with the Punisher. I could play with all these Daredevil. I could play with all these characters. Yeah, sign me up for it. Marvel Rivals is one of my most.
We've talked about this one. This is console game, right? I can download this on the PlayStation.
It is a console game. It is on PlayStation. Like I have loved this game since its beginning. It's been so much fun to play, and they keep adding new characters to the game. That's the other thing. It's like, yeah, your characters are OP. Like the Punishers of the world are overpowered. The Iron Mans of the world overpowered. The Thing, I think, was overpowered for a little bit there. Hulk had an era there where he was really OP. But they keep adding new characters that you switch up your allegiances very quickly. Like they add Gambit into the game, and Gambit is like one of the most fun characters to play with. If the end of the year, we have, obviously we talked about Spider-Man, but you have Spider-Man's in the game too. It's like the end of the year, we have Doomsday. If you want to learn about some of these other characters, you didn't watch the movies, Marvel Rivals is a great way to start.
Yeah, there's 25 or so movies. I did a big blog series back when we were on our initial network about all of the 18 movies of Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Now we're at like 33.
Yeah, no, that was right after Endgame. That was still before anything after Endgame came out is when I decided to go back through. And I did watch all of those movies, but I am not caught up on any of the new stuff. I've watched all of the Spider-Man ones, and I'll probably watch the new one that comes out. But it is. I will probably be downloading Marvel Rivals.
I'll tell you right now. I know you're a DC guy. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love the game.
Yeah, that was it. My honorable mention, because I downloaded it again last night, and it's along the lines of the Arkham Asylum games. Gotham Knights is a good one that you can download for PlayStation 5, and you get to choose which of the different Robins. So you can be Red Hood, you can be Nightwing, you can be Batgirl, you can be Tim Drake as the Robin at that point, and you're going through. It's difficult, like because the detective games are always difficult, but that's one of my honorable mentions. My number 2. It was the game that made everybody continue to talk about bringing this back for 12 years, 11 years. Like literally the only reason College Football 25 was in development is because when NCAA Football 14 became the last college football game anybody was going to have, PlayStation 3s became the hottest commodity. Xbox 360s were the hottest commodity on the market. You needed a console that you can play this game because I played out, I don't know how many 50-year dynasties within that 11 years. But that, you talk about Fortnite being your kryptonite in college. I had a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 3 in my dorm room, and my PlayStation 3 had so many more hours logged to the point where it won't turn off, Nico. My PlayStation 3 won't turn off anymore because I played it to the point where it's like absolutely dead. Just so many rounds of Road to Glory. I was Baker Mayfield. I was Trevor Lawrence. I was everybody that was coming up in college football. And then I played out a dynasty where I was the head coach at Boston College for 30 years. And I simulated 10 seasons in a row, and I was still the number 1 team in the country. That's how good my program was that I built and all of that good stuff. So NCAA 14, as much as it's now been kind of overtaken by the new generation is the UNC game. If you appreciate College Football 25, find a PlayStation 3, play some NCAA 14. You will understand where every bit of that love comes from.
Yeah, NCAA 14 was goated for a reason. That was one with Tebow. Was that Tebow on the cover, or was that someone else? I can't remember.
That was not Tebow. It was now I got to look it up.
Was it the Michigan quarterback?
It was Denard Robinson. Yes,
Denard Robinson. That's who it was. Yeah, that game was so much fun. My number one. Look, I put this here because of the time we're in, right, and the World Cup going on and everything, and I used to play FIFA all the time, like when I was in middle school and elementary school. That FIFA was the best game. Like I would play it all the time. Like that's how I learned about like some of the best players in the world, and it was one of the few games that I felt confident like that I was really good at. Like that and Chell were like the two games that I was like, you know what, I'm actually like can play online and can compete against like sweats, you know what I mean? As opposed to NBA or Madden or MLB where I'm like, yeah, I have no shot like, if I play anyone online. And FIFA, going through manager mode, going through career mode, going through player mode, I've loved it. And I haven't stopped. I can't stop doing it. It's like it's all I think about. Is like I'm manager of Liverpool right now, and I brought in some unbelievable talent and had to get rid of.
Are you in the EPL or did you get relegated?
No. I'm in the EPL. I've already created my own team and gone from the very bottom all the way to the top to winning the Champions League. That took me 6 years in computer time, obviously not real time. Okay. But yeah. And the reason why I put FIFA on here, because people know it as FIFA, even though it's now called FC, which I hate it. FC 26 I think this is called right now, but everyone knows it as FIFA. So that's the career mode I've been rolling on. I'm going to try to dive into some career mode with individual player now. So I just started that today and work on being a striker and bringing back Italy to the promised land and being the number one striker for Italy. So that's what we're working on, and I'm finding my club right now. So,
Viva Italia. Speaking of Italian heritage, I noticed now looking at our two lists, I have much more of the old school PlayStation 3 games, and that is my number one. It's Mafia 2. I hope that they come out with the re-release of it because they did the initial Mafia game. This was the first rated M game that I bought myself. It was not Grand Theft Auto. I think it was this and LA Noire, but this one. I'm a big Mafia, like Cosa Nostra stan, I guess you can call me. I am Italian-American, so it's probably part of the reason why I love it so much. Going through, playing as Vito Scaletta, and then obviously I played through Mafia 3, and I've done a couple Twitch streams going through that story, and Vito comes back into that one. It's 1920s, 1930s America all the way to the 1950s. And Mafia, if you know anything about La Cosa Nostra, if you like a character – kind of similar to what you experience watching Game of Thrones or one of these other TV shows. If you like a character, they're not sticking around very much longer. And if you end up liking the hero of the story, there's either going to be something that happens at the end of it that makes you not like him very much anymore, or he's going to die. And that's the newest one. Spoiler alert if you have not played the newest Mafia Old Country. Nico, you go through it. The last mission is probably about 25 minutes of gameplay. You have 3 separate knife fights. You go through all of these gunfights. You defeat the Don of the family, and you get pulled out by somebody that was your friend. He was your brother the entire game, and he stabs you in the back in a cutscene. Like, you can't even fight back with it. That's how your character dies. You go through 17 chapters of this entire series, and you die that way. I was like, you gotta be. Are you joking me right now? That is our most bingeable video games versus list.
I do have 2 honorable mentions on here that were really, really hard to take off. The first one, not so much hard to keep off this list, but one that I was playing beginning of the year that I really enjoyed that I might get back into after I get a little bit sick and tired of some of these other games. Red Dead Redemption, the second one, I've been getting into that.
Yeah, Red Dead 2.
Getting a horse, riding around, been loving that. Started that up during the rodeo in January, so that was the time to be had. And then another one that I really struggled keeping off the list that I was almost going to put it at 5, but I decided to go WWE because we're not in the season, is Chell. Like I talked about Chell like during the Olympics, that's all I was playing. Like that's all I was going on, and
that's all I played during the playoff runs too. It's literally.
So that game is definitely up there for me in top 5, but since we're not in the season for it, it's hard for me to put it for summer binges. Winter binge, a little bit different.
No, I think that's fair. And I hope everybody enjoys that little trip down memory lane. And if you're a gamer, make sure that you watch Rise of the Roadrunners and follow us on Twitch, because I will start finding different games and trying to play through different storylines. And it's only about an hour that you can stream at a time, but that will be coming back. So make sure you're following the Twitch channel and checking out those streams as they come along. We have our awards to get to. And it's funny, I texted you. We had the same exact awards initially. I'll let you keep yours. So just know that I had these two in mind when Nico talks about his. But who are your player and benchwarmer of the week for this week?
Player of the week, I went with Jude Bellingham. I think that was very, very obvious of how well he's played, and especially with the 2-goal performance in the quarterfinals. We don't know what he's going to do in the semifinals, but Jude has probably shown why he is one of the best young talents in all of soccer and all of football, and the fact that, he has a whole country singing his song at him. I mean, that's pretty damn sick. The fact he was named after the song and that he gets serenaded by that song every game, like, that's pretty sick, if you ask me. That's
80,000 people in Miami singing Hey Jude. And it's also the Beatles, which is the iconic British pop band. And it is his song. Now they're singing it to him. Yeah. Na 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 na.
So good. Benchwarmer of the league. I don't need to be a dead horse. It's Conor McGregor.
You like the picture that I found for it?
It's the picture from his last injury. I know it is, but that's still.
Or maybe that's this one. That is because he's got the mohawk. See, he's got the mohawk.
I can't. That's where my eyes are deceiving me. Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah, it's easily Conor McGregor. I need to be a dead horse. His career is done. Go do some movies and go do some other things. Your fight career is cooked, bud.
You're not that good of an actor, so please don't do movies. That would be a bad thing for the rest of the world. Please don't do movies at that point. My weekly awards. I had to change this one up since this happened. As before we were recording this, I went with the Spain national team as my player of the week. All of them. Yamal is who Yamal is, but it was a total team effort. And the fact that they have not succeeded a goal at this entire World Cup tournament. So again, if you're going to beat this team, you probably have to score double the amount of goals that you're going to that they've given up in the entire tournament. Spain being in the World Cup final, whoever meets them, that is a tough task. And Thomas Tuchel is my benchwarmer of the week. He is the head coach of the English national team. Do you know why he's my benchwarmer of the week?
Oh, I hope I know.
Because Jude Bellingham put him in his fucking place. He said, we really went that up for this game. It was kind of a lackluster performance. And Jude came out and said, bitch, we just ran around in 90 minutes plus extra time of Miami Heat in July, which nobody has ever experienced on this team. I think we did just fine.
Yeah, and then they came out with a victory. Yeah, I did see that. I thought that was very, very funny. Honorable mention for my benchwarmer of the week, Alpha Diallo. People are like, who? Current Denver Nugget, Alpha Diallo. He was the Spanish European League Defensive Player of the Year for the 3rd straight year, and we just signed him. There's your big signing of the offseason, Nuggets fans.
It's like Facu Campazzo all over again.
Gosh, don't. Oh, my gosh. Oh. Facu.
Remember when we broadcasted those games?
Gosh, how horrible those are. Facu, like, the year after you left us, he was, like, first team all Europe when he went back to Real Madrid. Like it's crazy how much of a difference it is playing the NBA versus Europe. So I am interested to see what this dude does for us, because if this is our marquee signing, we're screwed. So it should be interesting.
Well, on that note, we're going to let everybody get off to their weekend. Hopefully you enjoy the heat wave that is happening all throughout the United States. If you're here for the World Cup and you're going to stay through the final, you're going to enjoy. I know that you don't have any air conditioning, but at least it's not going to get over 80 degrees when you go back to Europe. So that's nice for you. Make sure you're following us at FEOTB Pod. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're following and just now watching us from All Gloves Off Sports Media, follow our channels as well and check out all the other great shows that are on the All Gloves Off Sports Media Network. What do you got for the people before we send them off for the weekend?
Enjoy the weekend. There's lots going on. Enjoy the World Cup final. It's going to be sad when it's over. I've been playing with my little mini soccer ball, kicking it around all month long. It's going to be.
You're going to have to put that away for another 4 years. You know that, right?
No, I can still mess around with it and piss off my neighbors by kicking it around my walls. So, but if you're not doing anything else, watch PLO. We're playing in Fairfield, Connecticut this weekend.
Nico's favorite trip of the year.
No. So it is now tied with my least favorite Canadian city in the world, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Okay, so depending on how this weekend goes, we'll see. But I will say both are the most pleasant. I just want to get to Sunday, so I'm back home, so I can get through this weekend.
Speaking of Sunday, episode 6 of the Rise of the Roadrunners drops Sunday. We are taking on Rice this weekend. The UT San Antonio Roadrunners defending their national championship, going through their American Conference play. If you are a fan of that, make sure you check that out. Make sure you're following us.
How long till we move the UTSA Roadrunners to a Power 5?
Well, I was thinking. I'm probably just gonna, by the time this whole season ends, I'm probably just gonna pick it up in 27, and in 27, I might as well just make the new conference and put them in. I don't know. Do you think they're Big 12 school? Big 12 school?
I think I would lean towards Big 12, but you gotta talk to the president over there at the school.
I will have to talk. There's a few shows that since we've been doing the videos, there's a few different channels that have reached out, and I'll have to talk to them. There could be an SEC tie-in. I would love to be Texas A&M every year.
I was going to say the next move is to get this online and get other people in the league and then all play in the same league. So maybe that's the next move.
Could be the next move. Hopefully everybody continues to enjoy that. For myself, Jimmy Pilato, my co-host Nico Bryant, episode 282 of the Far End of the Bench podcast. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.